Hi everyone, my name is Natasha. I wanted to share a rare occurrence that happened to me about a year ago now, called a heterotopic pregnancy. It happens to about 1 in every 30,000 pregnancies that are conceived naturally. And it was a very scary experience for me, but the Most High brought me through. And I wanted to bring awareness to it because it happens in a lot of women and it goes undetected. So about a year ago in March, I had experienced symptoms of a miscarriage. It was right around the time my cycle was supposed to start, so I was expecting that, but the pain was a lot worse than any cycle I've ever had. So I went to the doctor, and it turns out that I was having a miscarriage. Um, so I was like, okay, the doctor said to come back in about 2 to 3 days and get checked out and make sure that I had passed everything completely. So I went to the doctor 2 days later. He was supposed to do an ultrasound, but he did not. Instead, he just took blood, checked my HCG level hormone, and saw that it had gone down significantly from 1400 to 700, and said that it looked like I passed, the baby completely. So I could get checked up in about 3 weeks, no rush. So about 2.5, 3 weeks later, I was out of town and I started to experience a lot of pain again in my lower abdomen and then in my back. Um, it was so excruciating that I couldn't walk. My husband had to carry me to the car. We were actually at a basketball game. So he had to carry me to the car, called the ambulance. The ambulance didn't give me anything for the pain, but it was so bad that I couldn't talk. By the time I got to the emergency room, I could hear the doctor talking to the nurse about getting blood ready and finding out my blood type, etc., and how the doctor at the other hospital should not have let me go without checking me completely, but just to be ready for a transfusion. So, I didn't know what was going on. So they did an ultrasound and took blood, urine, etc., and the doctor came in to tell me I was pregnant. And I said, well, I can't be pregnant. I just had a miscarriage about 2 weeks ago and I passed the baby completely. And he said, well, I don't know, what happened 2 weeks ago, but you are definitely pregnant and your hormone level, your HCG is back at 1400. So I was like, okay. They didn't see a baby in the ultrasound that they did in the ER. They had me go back down for another ultrasound a few hours later. Now it's going into the next day, so early morning of the next day, and they said they still didn't see a baby. They didn't see anything, and they didn't know. It was kind of an anomaly of what was going on. They just gave me pain medicine, and just wanted to monitor me. By the second day of being in the hospital, a doctor came in, an OBGYN, and she told me that they didn't really know what was going on. It could be an ectopic pregnancy. They did see something on the ultrasound, but they weren't sure if it was a cyst or not close to my ovary. So they wanted to monitor me, and just keep, checking blood levels. So they were checking my blood like every few hours, every 4 hours or so. They were monitoring me. And then the early hours of the following morning, this is going on the third day now, they did another ultrasound. And right after that ultrasound, I was in excruciating pain again. And the pain medicine just wasn't doing anything anymore. So I asked for more pain meds. I said it wasn't doing anything. And right before they gave me anything, my doctor came in and said, okay, it's an ectopic pregnancy. And it seems like what happened was you were pregnant with twins. You miscarried one 2.5 weeks ago. And this one got stuck in the fallopian tube and it started to grow. your tube has ruptured, you're bleeding internally, you've lost a lot of blood internally, and you are on the verge of, you know, you could die at this point if we don't rush you back to the OR. So they had to remove my fallopian tube, my right fallopian tube. And I, at this time, have had 5 children. And I said, you know, please take the other one as well. All of my previous children have been born naturally, you know, vaginally. And I would hate to have any more complications with any pregnancies, or even have to do an involuntary C-section because of complications. So just go ahead and take my other one. I'm okay if I don't have any more kids. The Lord has blessed us with at least 5. So I was okay with that. And she said because I was under heavy narcotics, she wouldn't be able to do it. So I asked my husband to please beg her to take the other fallopian tube. We get back to that pre-op section of the hospital. There was a nurse there. I was crying. I was in so much pain. And that nurse laid hands on me, prayed for me. Everything got calm. All the pain went away. That in itself was a testimony for me. But yeah, she prayed for me, and she told the doctor, because my husband asked her again to take the other fallopian tube. And that nurse told the doctor, don't touch that tube. And the doctor said, okay, you heard her, I'm not touching that tube. So I was like, oh man. Anyway, I go for surgery. Surgery was great. Recovery was really good. And about 2 weeks after that, a coworker of mine had a dream that she saw me with a baby girl. Again, this was in April, so now we're into May. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm having any more kids. I'm still going through recovery. I'm not interested in having any more kids right now. She said she know what she saw. She saw a baby girl. I said, okay, you know, wrote it down in my little dream journal, and that was it. Anywho, I had an aunt pray for me, and she was praying for my womb and the kids to come. And I'm like, does she not know I have 5 children? I'm okay if we don't have any more kids. But now that's twice. Plus the nurse, so I guess it's 3 times. Everybody is just praying for my womb, praying for, you know, children, and seeing children that I don't know that I'm gonna have. Well, long story short, at this point, you know, I'm like, I really don't want any more kids, but Father knows best. And in June, was it June, July-ish? It was July. My cycle is about to start in July, and I had a dream. I'm a dreamer. So I had a dream. I saw the Father holding a baby in my womb, and I could see the heart pulsating in its head. And the words were, I got this one. I got this one. And I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. Lo and behold, the next day my period didn't start. When I got a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. So that's my little miracle baby for sure, because I conceived in June and I had the surgery in April. With 1 tube, I was still able to conceive. For those who are trying to have kids, just pray and fast. He will do it if that's your heart desire. I wasn't planning on having any more kids, and now I have a beautiful baby girl, just like my coworker saw. And she came at a time when I really wasn't expecting any more children. But she is a blessing, and I know that the Father has her. The Most High has his hands on her. She's my little miracle baby. But also to pay attention to your body, because the pain that you're feeling is to let you know that something isn't right. Father forbid I did not go to the hospital. As women and as mothers, we tend to put our health aside and only worry about our children and our husbands, and not worry about ourselves. And when our body is in pain, we tend to medicate ourselves to make it through the day. And I know that's something that I did back in March when I was going through the miscarriage. I was popping Motrin every 4 hours for the pain, until I couldn't take it anymore. So don't wait, because had I waited when I was suffering through a heterotopic pregnancy, I was bleeding internally, I could have lost my life. And I know many people who have come to me since then and said they knew somebody who died of an ectopic pregnancy, and it's really is serious. And a heterotopic pregnancy is a lot of times missed. I went to the doctor for a checkup, and this doctor has been practicing for 40 years, and he said he's never met anyone who's lived to tell the tale of a heterotopic pregnancy, because they are so rare, and 99% of the time they kill the person that it happens to, because the doctors don't know to check for it. When you have that miscarriage, or they find an ectopic pregnancy and it's gone, that's all they look for, that's all they see. And so when there's another one there, whether it's in another tube or, whatever, and they miss it, it can, you can lose your life. So it's definitely something that you want to pay attention to, and, get checked. Don't feel the pain and medicate yourself because of the pain, and not get checked, and just kind of be aware and know what to look for. So I don't know who this is going to help, but I know it's going to help somebody, because I'm not a video person and I was led by the Holy Spirit to share. So bless you.